Can you read this? If you said yes, it's good. Today I'm going to talk about Scrum artifacts. Are you familiar with the term? In Agile project management, artifacts are tools used to track work that is planned, in progress, and completed, as well as project requirements, risk issues, and the budget. Today I'm going to focus on the Burndown chart. Hey everyone, it's Mark from WIPMX.com, and this is the Forever Project. So what is a Burndown chart? Tracking work during a sprint is normally done using a Burndown chart. A Burndown chart shows the remaining effort in story points or hours depending on what method you use for estimating your user stories. Now, I'm going to make a separate video about that. If you saw my last video, you know I don't estimate stories, I estimate the task required to complete the story. And I always use hours. I normally keep the Burndown chart in a shared location. You always hear me say like SharePoint, Google Drive, some sort of shared repository so that everyone has access. And this is really good for stakeholders and stakeholder management because now that they have a place where they can go, they don't have to wait or try and track me down or wait for a status call to get an update on the project status. And by estimating in hours, the chart is much easier to read for those who are not familiar with the point system. And bear in mind, there is more than one point system. Now, if you look at this chart in this example, you can see that when work is delayed, the commitment is not going to be met. You can see the gray area up here, that this is the actual work versus where work should be. And when you come down here to the very bottom on the final day of the sprint review and retrospective, but more importantly the review, we've got 8 hours of work to do. We estimated 8 hours. We're looking at 11. So that's not good. Now, how this is helpful is early in the sprint, because you're updating this daily, you can see the slippage. The slippage is spotted early. You can see right here, you're already off 3 days. And you could take corrective action, corrective measures, work with other PMs to try and bring in more resources, or, just troubleshoot, see what's going on and make that course correction so that you just don't go from 3 days or 3 hours to 6. Well, you're still at 6, but you could just see it's getting worse and worse. And again, this is just an example. Now, these numbers over here, you basically get these numbers in your sprint planning session. Now, a lot of times when you're going through coursework or anything, you'll see it's always 320. I've never been lucky enough to have a dedicated team of 4 people on a project that could commit 40 hours a week. That's how you get your 320. I've just never had that. So let me show you how I come up with these numbers and what I normally do during my sprint planning sessions. I'm going to do a separate video on that as well, but just like my first question. Okay, so here we are, and a lot of times what you'll find out is your Scrum Master is your product owner. So in this case, she will play the role of the Scrum Master and product owner. We've got 4 chairs here. Here's my mouse. Yeah. So we've got 4 chairs here. 3 developers, 1 designer. The designer will double as test and QA. But my first question is, how many hours can you commit to this sprint? Because you're working for other PMs, you're part of other teams. I'm going to ask this guy right here. How many hours can you give me? He tells me he can give me 10 hours per week. So 20 hours total over the course of this 2-week sprint. 20 hours total, and 2 of those hours start today during the sprint planning session. Great. So it's these things that you have to factor in. How many hours can they give to you? Vacations, anything like that. So let me ask this guy. How many hours can you give me? Okay, he said the same thing. 10 hours. So right now I have 20 total hours just between these two for the sprint. So let's say between the 4 of them, they can give me 10 hours each. So that's 40 hours a week from each of them. And that's how I got my total of 80. Another thing you want to ask also is this 2 hours per day? Or how is that broken up? Because what you can get is I'm giving you 2 hours today. I can't give you any time Tuesday and Wednesday. I can give you 4 on Thursday, 4 hours on Friday. So that's something to take into account as well. And the reason I say you need to take that into account as well is because it can be a little misleading. Now, what you don't want to have a single day where no one is working on your project. That is unacceptable. You need to work with the other PMs, talk to the resources. That cannot happen. But, so, how did I get this 75? Well, this is how I got the 75. Okay, we know how we got the 80. And you see now I'm just subtracting 8 hours from planned work to get us down. And these numbers represent the amount of hours at the start of the day. This is why this is not 0. The start of that last day for the sprint demo and the retrospective, we've got 8 hours. So how did I get this 5? Well, this is how. You go to your Scrum board and you look at the total number of hours in the done column. We only have 5 hours. We were hoping for 8, either just one nice big story or 2 smaller tasks. We didn't get that. We got 5. And because we, And because we got 5 hours, that's what's represented here. Now we still have we had planned to have only 72 hours worth of work left. We have 75 hours worth of work left. And as you can see, so again, this is just to let you know that you need to take action. If this is the case, you could easily change these numbers. And just to show you how this works, you could change it to 71. Change this to 63. 55. Right here, 55. And now you can see you're like right on pace, if that's the case. And again, these numbers here would come from how many of these tasks are making it into the done column. And done doesn't just mean the developer's done this work. It's been tested and QA'd. So it hasn't really met the definition of done, but it has passed all of its acceptance criteria. And I did a video for that, so be sure to check it out. And that's really pretty much it. So again, the Burndown chart just shows your progress during the sprint. It's only used per sprint, not per sprints. So this chart would be unique to this particular sprint. You'd have another one for the next sprint and an old one from the previous sprint. Your actual hours, don't use a red line. Other people will see that, especially if it's up here, freak out. You don't want that. So yeah, you put your numbers in here as tasks are completed on your Scrum board based on the number of hours. And then this will adjust accordingly until you get to a place that feels a little more comfortable. Yeah, see, this is the look that you want. This is probably going to be the look that you have, and that's really about it. I know you caught a glimpse of this. So, let me go back to this first. But just like with the Scrum board, I'm making this available, $5. If you already, I'm not trying to nickel and dime everybody. If you've already purchased the Scrum board, then send me an email. Use the email address you listed when you purchased the Scrum board and the first and last name, just so I know you actually did it. And I'll send you this for free. If you purchase the bug tracker, send me an email directly to me, first name, last name, and the email address that you use. I'll send you this for free. So it's basically once you purchase one item, then I will just give you the rest of the items. And this is for free, even if you've never purchased anything. It's basically just Agile Scrum artifacts. It has a little key over here, just giving you some high-level detail on what each item is. The ones that are in purple are not necessarily used by all teams. As you'll see right here, I've got, and the Scrum board is not considered an artifact. I know I'm starting to ramble and everything, but yeah, a lot of people just go from product backlog to sprint backlog and then into their sprint. And you see up here, I have how everything relates. All of this is done during sprint planning. You get in here, Scrum board, daily Scrum. This feeds into your Burndown chart. Depending on what's going on with your Burndown chart, it feeds back into this. We finally get over to the sprint review. If you have an increment log, great, goes in there. If not, from your review, you go into your retrospective, and then we start all over. So I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, please click the like button and don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to put a link in the description for this document. Again, this is free. There'll be a link for this one as well, $5. If you've already purchased anything else, again, just email me. I'll send this to you for free. It's easy enough to make, so you don't even have to buy it at all. You can make it in 2 or 3 minutes. But again, just want to say thanks for watching this video. Thank you for your time, and I'll try and get another video out shortly. Thanks.